Hi guys, sorry it's
Hello.
cut again. I'll chop it together. I'm gonna think we have to buy a new camera. Anyway, so yeah, the fanfare opens up and it's on the soundtrack, but I skipped it when I listened to the soundtrack because the soundtrack's actually actually Freddie. It's not any people trying to pretend to him and be him and stuff. It's a track that I skipped, should I say, because I've listened to the full soundtrack once through. And when it opens up and it's actually a drum kit and a guitar,
It's Brian May and
Roger Taylor playing it, and I'm like, oh my god! And I was like, wasn't I? I was just beaming. I was so excited. But I have like watched probably that trailer probably about 1 million times for this film, and I'm like, I am going to love this regardless, I think. And okay, when you break it down, there have been some things that have slightly changed, or they didn't mention things, which is perfectly fine. As a fan of their music, I don't mind those things.
No.
Because it's about the music, it's about Freddie's story.
About the band.
It's about the band and how they worked and how even they were a family. And even sometimes when, Roger Taylor's throwing food at them and nearly throwing the coffee pot at their heads. In this one sequence where they're fighting over lyrics for their various songs and what the playlist, they are a family and they totally love each other. But right, when we got home, I played this Queen documentary for Laura, which is like the definitive Queen documentary called Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
And it was done by the BBC quite a while ago. It's a 2-hour documentary, and we sat watching it. Laura's realised. What were your exact words, Laura?
I don't want to say.
Oh.
Well, put it this way: if Roger Taylor was a woman, there would be a word beginning with S.
Yes.
Like
I came to love Roger Taylor even more than before, just because of the way that he was depicted, and also when you look at the documentary and the way he talks about how much his relationship with Freddie and the other band members and everything, and he's got very strong opinions about stuff.
He seems to be a person of strong opinions since he was like a child.
Yeah, can you imagine if he actually became a dentist like he was studying for? I mean,
he'd be like, I told you last time to stop fucking eating sweets.
I think he would. But he's such a bold character, just as Brian May is quiet man, but he's still quite a strong character. And John Deacon, the member who everyone forgets, because he no longer plays music. He retired on his money that he's got from Queen, and obviously still gets for royalties and such. He's gone on a different path, but Brian and Roger have carried on. And they saw with Adam
Lambert.
Lambert, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry, the name just completely fell out my head then. They've been touring with Adam for 5 years now. And it's still going great, still going strong.
And do you know what? To be fair to him, he said himself, I'm not Freddie, I'm not trying to be Freddie, but he can hit the notes. Yeah. The big notes.
There's a really great video from James Corden's Late Late Show that was done about a year ago, because it was when the real buzz about Queen Bohemian Rhapsody was going on, and he did a sing-off with Adam Lambert with Queen in the studio, and nobody knew that they would come. Well, obviously everyone knew, but not the audience. And they have a sing-off. And they're just like sing like 5 or 6 Queen tracks, and James gives in. He goes, "You're right. I'm not good enough." And all the crowd's like, "Oh!" And Adam kind of picks him back up again, and I think they finished with "We Are the Champions" or something. It's a really great video. You'll have to watch it. But yeah, they were all completely a family, and this film felt like that. Now, critics have been quite nasty. Social nasties are quite very critical they've been critical. The critics have been critical. Like The Guardian, I think they gave it 2 stars.
Oh, that's cruel.
I know, it's cruel.
That's
totally
ridiculous.
cruel. And there have been fans that have gone, well, there's some inaccuracies here and you've not mentioned stuff. But the majority of people, like me, are going, I don't care. This is a story about the music, about the band, about everything. And as long as you said, well, as long as Brian May, Roger Taylor and John Deacon are going, we're fine with this. We're happy with it. And this family.
And the people that knew him, that really knew him, if they're happy with this film, I'm happy with this film. And I've got to say, I really, really loved how they treated the topic. I was going to say issue, it's not an issue. The topic of Freddie's sexuality.
Yeah.
That he fell in love with Mary Austin.
Yep.
He genuinely loved Mary.
Yes.
But he discovered that he was bisexual. She broke off their engagement because she felt, well, he was away all the time. Yeah. You can't have a marriage based on that.
No.
But he still loved her. And after a period of being so lost, and he was lost, he found his partner, Jim, who was his partner until his death.
Yeah.
But like I texted my friends, one love does not preclude the other.
Yeah.
One does not make one more important.
Yeah.
They didn't say Freddie's gay or Freddie's confused.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do that. They showed, the fact is that Freddie went on a journey. He loved Mary.
Mm-hmm.
He still loved Mary, but then he met other people and found other things out about himself, and then he met Jim.
Yeah.
And in the end, at Live Aid, Mary, her husband, and Jim stood there in the wings watching the man they love in his greatest triumph as an artist.
And
it's fucking amazing. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's great.
Now, casting. Rami Malek.
Chills. First time I saw him.
The moment you see Freddie and you don't see him, like his face.
No.
You know, there's a tap at the door and then you see, you know, this lower body come down the steps and he swings open the jacket and you see the armband from the Live Aid concert that you know is famous wearing, and the white top. And everything, and he's
stonewashed jeans.
Yeah, and he's slowly walking up, and he's like jumping and also getting himself excited. And then they pull back the curtains, and you see the crowd, and then it cuts to 1970 when he's working at Heathrow Airport and stuff, and you learn the story of Freddie from there on. Rami did, my God, such an amazing job.
He had his mannerisms and his head turns and his twirls and the way he'd strut across the stage like a peacock.
I know. I really, because I saw that one of the behind the scenes kind of videos for the promotion of the film and stuff, where he was saying it's not about imitating Freddie, it's about realising who he was in order to make you be Freddie as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So he wasn't trying to pretend to be him. He was trying to understand him and to make him believable.
He worked
and he
like
really does. Yeah, he did.
He?
Obviously, like, especially because there were concerts in that documentary that were in the film, and he really got, you know, he copied certain things. He was very, like, pretty close with the Live Aid concert.
Yeah, he was.
How certain gestures he did, and even the bit where he like bends over and looks between his legs at the crowd. Like, it was just like things like that. It was absolutely brilliant.
And I loved as well that they didn't lose Freddie's heritage either.
No, it's constantly referred to. You know,
but
little
you see
things
his
like
family. They could very easily have cut out his family.
We see his family. We see him interact with his family, and he talks about his family even when we're away from them as well. But one thing that I found really striking that I never even thought of, to be honest, is the racism that he encountered in his life. And for some reason, it just didn't register in my head that was something that he would have encountered.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just see it's Freddie Mercury.
I wonder if part of that is because Freddie's heritage wasn't really spoken about.
No.
Until probably after he died. I don't know if people even realised that he was from Zanzibar.
Yeah.
That he grew up there.
Yeah.
That he emigrated here when he was 13. I'm not sure people knew that.
No, probably not.
Before, do you know what I mean? Before, like, he started being properly talked about. I don't know. I don't know enough about Queen's history to know if that's true.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if he had been whitewashed.
Yeah, probably.
You know?
I think that's probably...
In the same way that after he died, the press basically vilified him.
Yeah.
And, you know, made him sound like he was this promiscuous... But, well, he died of AIDS, so he must have been promiscuous.
He must have been this
He must have been like this. He must have been like that. And the truth is, no.
Yeah.
And the fact is that Brian May and Roger Taylor had to go on national television not even a week after he died to defend him against the press that was saying this about him.
Yeah.
And they'd lost their friend of over 20 years. Yeah. And that's what they had to do that week.
Yeah.
Because the press didn't care about the nuance of him. They were only interested in the sensation of him. Mm. And it's like I was saying with A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
Like, artistry and fame mean loss. Mm. And that means the loss of the nuance of you as a person.
Yeah. I think also it was, I love the fact that they depicted his really good friendship with Roger.
Yeah,
because Roger Taylor in the band, he is the drummer. Shall I say? Not was a drummer. The two of them, when you watch like the documentary, you could see how well good friends they were, and when Roger talks about Freddie's death and starts crying, it's incredibly moving.
Yeah,
watching him talk about Freddie's death, and it came across their friendship in this film, and you can see he's incredibly taken aback when Freddie tells them that he's got AIDS. I mean, they did play around the timeline a bit because obviously he tells them the day before Live Aid, which was 1985, and he didn't get actually tested till 1987. But you know, it's so they kind of played with the timeline a bit there. But how that impacts Roger.
What does he say? He says there's only room for one hysterical queen in this band. Because Roger, I think this is probably quite accurate. Roger has an ego.
Oh yeah,
he's quite an egotistical bloke. He's an artist.
Yeah,
but so is Freddie, and
but I love also when you see his interviews that he gave to the press throughout their career. He's bloody honest. He doesn't take any crap. He gives.
That's so funny.
Like he's given back.
I loved it. I loved it.
Ben, who played Roger, who we know from The Woman in White and from EastEnders. Yeah, I loved his depiction of Roger, and especially when he was dressed up in drag for.
He's so pretty.
Yeah. For I Want to Break Free, the music.
He looks so good with contour. Like
he does. Yeah,
he looked great.
Yeah,
he looked really good.
It's So, but yeah, the guy who played Brian May, I don't know the actor's name, so I'll probably put them in the description. As soon as he opened his mouth to speak, it was like, fuck. He really got Brian. Really got him. And he is depicted just as I always seen Brian as being in various interviews and stuff, that he's this quite laid back, soft-spoken guy
smart
who
yeah.
who is dedicated to the music and for how the music makes people feel, and he wants to get the crowd involved with it, so that he came up with the "We Will Rock You" and such. And I really love watching Brian May being interviewed.
Yeah.
I think he's a very interesting man, especially when he gets onto his astrophysics. He's really grown when he gets onto that. And he's just recently released another book, and it's got 3D pictures in it to do with the moon surface and such, to make you feel like you're on the moon and stuff. He loves his astrophysics. I really loved the guy who played him. But can we just say, I loved Laura's face when I told her he was the guy who played John Deacon. Because Laura didn't get this when I told her mentioned it in the cinema, because I think you just didn't hear what I said. And I said, "Oh, isn't he grown up so much? I can't get over how much he's grown up since he was a kid." And Laura's like, "What are you talking about?" And I went, "It's Timmy from Jurassic Park." And you stopped. We were walking to the bus stop, and she stopped, and she's like, "No." Yeah, you were really taken aback, weren't you? It's Timmy.
He was lovely.
Timmy.
But I think Bohemian Rhapsody was a good film that Rami Malek carried, and I think he will get Best Actor.
Yeah, it kind of feels.
If Bradley Cooper could get Best Director or Best Film, I'll be happy.
For me, as Queen fan, and like I said, I don't really mind about the inaccuracies of timeline or stuff that they took out or whatever of their story. It's about the music. It's about how it makes you feel and all that lot, and they delivered on that. And it's kind of a film that reminds me of something like Sunshine on Leith or Rock of Ages, something like that, where okay, it may not be the best constructed film, but who gives a crap? It's about how you feel about the music.
Whereas A Star Is Born is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Is a modern classic.
Yeah.
That will be a film in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, that film students are studying.
Yeah.
Because of the choices and of things that Bradley Cooper did.
And to have that be Bradley Cooper's first time directing, it's like, what on earth can this guy do?
Oh, and can we just honourable mention Mike Myers, the man who introduced me to Bohemian Rhapsody through Wayne's World, although our dad was a big Queen fan.
Yeah, but
I don't remember Dad really playing that one though.
I do. I remember listening it in the car.
Maybe it was in the car, but
I remember distinctly. He had this like weird, because you know how you would get like music magazines, and back then it was you got free tapes instead of free CDs.
He's probably magazine. Got about 20 years
there was
worth
this
of Q magazines in the
attic.
He
still got them. Yeah, he made sure they had to clear out the attic, and he refused to get rid of them.
Dad's a legend.
And it's like film magazines, because there was a special film magazine, I can't remember which one, for Lord of the Rings, a collector's one, and I bought it and so did Dad, and on the back there was a picture of Gollum sat on the toilet reading with Lord of the Rings covers, and he's going, "Yeah, that's in the attic, that one's in the attic, that one's in the attic," and I'm like, bloody hell. So he's got tons of them. Anyway, he had a tape which had Bohemian Rhapsody and all stuff, and I remember listening to them when we were like waiting for Mum, where when she used to work at Asda, and we would have the routine of Dad would make us tea, we'd have a bath, we'd get in our PJs.
I don't remember
get in the car.
The lyrics for Bohemian Rhapsody.
Well, yeah, but you probably learn like proper lyrics and such as you get older, that kind of stuff. But I remember distinctly because the other tape I was obsessed with, and it was called The Best of America or something. And because on it was America from West Side Story. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was either the opening track of one of the sides or the closing track, and I used to kept on getting Dad to rewind it every time we finished the song. Do you remember? Yeah. And I just distinctly remember being sat in the car in Asda car park within our pyjamas and dressing gowns, waiting for Mum to come out of work.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, I do
listening to
remember
Bohemian
that.
Rhapsody and stuff.
But I mean, like,
but when you're it's that thing that when a kid you might not take it on.
That's the thing. Yeah. When I was a teenager, when I got to sixth form,
it changed.
It all changed because we used to play Bohemian Rhapsody every Friday.
Yeah.
And I remember we went over into registration and the teachers just stood there and let us sing it. We were all swaying in the common room. And it was it's such a great song.
But Mike Myers was absolutely amazing because he's the guy at EMI who gave them the money to kind of make Bohemian Rhapsody to show what they had, and they gave him Bohemian Rhapsody and he went, what the fuck is this? And there's a really fantastic line where he's just sat there kind of baffled and he goes, this is not a song that's going to make teenagers roll down the car windows and bang their heads to it. And it's like, oh, let's see what you did there.
Funny.
See what you did there. That was brilliant. That was so funny. But my work colleague who saw it on the day it came out said she was the only one laughing at that because nobody realised it was Mike Myers.
Yeah, he's underneath
lots of prosthetics, beard, full curly wig, and sunglasses. Yeah. And he never takes them off because he never takes off the sunglasses. But you can hear it in his voice. And you can tell it's him. But at the same time, you can't tell it's him. But yeah, having him say that line is absolutely fantastic.
It's funny because obviously Freddie died in 1991. Yeah. 1994 was the Barcelona Summer Olympics, and the song for that Olympics was Barcelona by Freddie Mercury and Montserrat Caballé.
Yeah, which he had done the video for, I think, about 6 months to a year before his death, wasn't it?
Because he loved opera.
Oh God, he was obsessed with opera.
Montserrat Caballé was his favourite opera singer. Yeah. And he met her at dinner. Yeah. And he randomly asked her, will you sing on a song for me? Yeah. And she agreed. Yeah. And it's like, it's two genres that don't belong together, that come together and make this gorgeous, gorgeous song. Barcelona is one of my favourites.
Oh, mine as well.
I love it so much. Yeah. And I love how in the video he's so admires her and puts her on display. Yeah. I mean, he has his moment, obviously. Yeah. But
he makes the focus on her.
About her and not him. And oh God, just Queen as a band. Yeah. They're just legendary. They are legends.
Yeah. But I loved also the family feel, as I've said, of the band. But those issues of when they kind of separate, but they don't separate at the same time.
They take a break.
They take a break. They're on a break. Not quite that way. No. But the complexities of everything and Freddie deciding things for the band, and Roger's not very happy about that.
With good reason, to be fair.
And Freddie's ego kind of taking over at that point, going, "You wouldn't have a band without me," kind of thing. But the way that it's acted, the way that it's performed, because obviously the songs and Freddie's voice and such, and when they use it and when they don't use it, and they blend very well. Yeah. The reenactment of like Live Aid and stuff like this, and when in our documentary we were watching concerts and such sequences that are used in the film, and how well they've done it. Yeah. And I just loved it. I absolutely loved it and cried. Yeah. And I watched their Live Aid gig section where it was meant to be 18 minutes and they did it for 28. And they had the volume cranked up higher than everyone else in order to, that kind of thing. It's extraordinary and I love it, yet this version of Rami performing it had me crying. I was just so emotional about
and
the
I
whole
was
thing.
so grateful that they ended it at the moment of his biggest triumph.
Yes.
And didn't choose to take it through to his death.
Yeah.
That they did Live Aid and became the legends that they were always going to be.
And I feel that if they did do his death, that would insult Freddie. Because it's private, it's none of our business. This is about the legend and the music and everything, which is what he, and
I suppose what would be the point of getting him to the point of Live Aid, and then watching that star fade when we knew it was out anyway?
Yeah, but the star has never faded.
No, it hasn't.
And that's the point, isn't it?
And you know what? And I said to you on the bus on the way home, one of my favourite moments from the opening ceremony of the Olympics in London was when they used his "Hey, yo,
hey," and the entire place was responding to it.
Because that in itself is a chilling moment, because how he was capable of interacting with the audience and getting them to, sort of, like they say in that documentary, eat out the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
He knew what to do, and he knew how to make the audience a part of it all.
Yeah.
And he would have loved the Olympics. I bet you he would have loved that.
Yeah.
And he'd have done it as well.
Yeah. And like even to this day, like when "A Love of My Life" is a really amazing song that he wrote for Mary. Whenever it's performed, Brian performs it, just him and his guitar, acoustic guitar. And there's usually a projector kind of like next to him or behind him, and there's usually like a star flickering, and then it gets bigger and bigger. And then it dissolves into Freddie, who either stands or sits down on a chair next to him and sings the rest of the song. And Freddie blows a kiss and he blows a kiss. And it's really beautiful to watch. There's video of it on YouTube that fans have filmed. But it's wonderful. And he's never forgotten. He's never, they constantly have him in their hearts and their souls. And
because Queen is legendary, but it's like I was saying about Beyonce. There are people that go beyond that.
Yeah.
And he's one of them.
Yeah.
He was the greatest performer of his time.
Yeah.
And, I mean, God, I was 8 when he died. But you felt it. It's like, wow, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's never.
And it's like he said in that documentary that he was going to be a legend. Yeah. And he says to an interviewer at one point in it where he goes, my plan, as it were, is to live life to the fullest for as long as I possibly can. And he did that.
And he did, and he kept making music, and that was the only thing he wanted to do.
Up until about maybe a month before he died or something. And there's the notes that he belts out on that final album that they put together after his death. My God, are extraordinary. And "Show Must Go On" is one of my favourite songs of his.
That song
which is on that album. Which is on the album. And the passage where one lines is "Inside my heart is breaking, my makeup may be flaking, but my smile still stays on." And it just it's Freddie. And best
I'll top the bill, I'll earn the kill.
I have to find the will to carry on with the show.
Yeah. It's such a it's like he knows the end is coming. Yeah. But he can't bring himself to give up.
It's kind of like he can see a storm coming towards him, but he's going to run as fast as he can to get away from it. Kind of, I always feel that kind of when I hear that, I feel like I can hear him running.
Perhaps
like he's frantically trying to.
Or perhaps the metaphor would be better to say he can see the storm coming and is determined to keep standing until it gets him.
True. Yeah.
Perhaps that would be a better
I think
metaphor.
that's a better one. I think that's a much better one.
Yeah, because he's not running away from it. It's accepting that the end is coming.
Yeah.
But he's got to keep going until it gets him.
Yeah. Yeah. But he was an amazing man, and Rami did an extraordinary job.
Oh, he did an amazing job. Well done, Rami.
He's in pretty much every single shot of the film.
I don't think he's actually. There aren't many scenes that he's not in, are there?
Well, you'll have a scene that he'll walk into, or he's walked outside of a room, but he's having a conversation with someone else, so it's still kind of connected. But that kind of thing. But he's pretty much in every single scene, isn't he? And he plays Freddie beautifully.
He got his speaking voice perfectly.
Oh my god, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I mean, he wasn't singing.
No.
But his speaking voice was...
And the fact that,
awesome.
he those false teeth that he had, because obviously Freddie had a very famous overbite thing because of his extra teeth that he had. He left them in the entire shoot.
Really?
He wouldn't break it. He had to understand that range.
Because he had prosthetics as well, because his lower face looks nothing like Freddie's, because Freddie had quite a thin nose.
Yeah.
And because of his overbite, his cheeks were quite hollow.
Yeah.
Whereas Rami doesn't have that.
Yeah.
So they've put prosthetics over they've put the teeth in and prosthetics over his face and matched it all up. It looks amazing. Yeah. It's awesome.
But the film, for me, as a fan, I don't care the little changes that they've done. It's about how the music makes you feel, how they were a family, and how Freddie was fucking amazing.
He was.
And it delivered on all those things. So for me, Bohemian Rhapsody,
well
top
done,
notch,
awesome,
and bring your tissues to it. Cause, you'll cry.
It was great.
Yeah,
but I loved Bo Rap.
Yeah,
but I think Star Is Born is a better film.
Yeah,
but they are both wonderful.
Yeah.
And
on that note, I think we're going to stop because we've been rambling on for quite some time.
We have.
But thank you for watching. So sorry for my camera being annoying. But I may have to buy a new camera, I think.
I think you will.
I think I will. But yeah, thanks for watching and see you later.
Bye.